They don't love you. They love how they feel when you love them. That's the thing about narcissists. It's never really about you. It's about their reflection in your eyes. They feed on attention, validation, admiration. But the second you stop playing your part in their little show, they turn cold, dismissive, or worse, manipulative. And if you try to confront them with honesty, with vulnerability, with heart, they don't apologize. They reposition. They take what you've said, twist it slightly, and make you feel like you're overreacting. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're the one who's too sensitive, too dramatic, too needy. It becomes less about resolution and more about dominance. And if you don't recognize this shift quickly, you enter their world, a place where you're always defending yourself and never really understood. So what do? You stop playing their game, and you start playing your own. Now let me be clear. This isn't about becoming a narcissist yourself. This isn't about manipulation or revenge. It's about clarity, strategy, self-protection. And no one understood that better than Machiavelli. See, Machiavelli didn't tell people to be cruel. He told them to see clearly. He didn't glorify manipulation. He revealed it. And he taught people how to move smart in a world where many play dirty behind a smile. He understood that people don't always act from virtue. Sometimes they act from fear, ego, or hunger for power. And if you navigate the world as if everyone is as kind or honest as you are, you'll eventually walk into a trap thinking it's a conversation. When you deal with narcissists, whether it's your boss, your parent, your ex, or even a friend, you're not just dealing with difficult people. You're dealing with a deep need for control, disguised as charm or confidence. Their kindness is transactional. Their attention is conditional. And if you don't recognize it early, you'll end up doubting yourself instead of them. Let's say you're at work. You do the heavy lifting on a group project, but your narcissistic colleague finds a way to twist the story and shine in front of the manager. They smile, compliment you publicly. "We made a great team." But somehow, they walk away with the credit. You mention it? You're sensitive. You let it slide? It happens again. The cycle continues, and it never ends until you either leave the job, explode, or learn how to move in silence while building undeniable leverage, or take a family dynamic. You express a boundary to a narcissistic parent, something as simple as, "I won't be available on Sundays." What do? They guilt you, make it about them, twist the narrative until you feel selfish for protecting your own time. Suddenly, you're reminded of everything they've sacrificed for you too. You're told you're not grateful. And if you try to defend your position, the conversation becomes a courtroom where you're always guilty until you apologize. Not because you're wrong, but because it's easier. In school, you might see this in a classmate who always plays the victim when things go wrong, but takes all the glory when things go right. They might act helpless in front of teachers to gain sympathy, but act superior when the attention shifts to someone else. Online, it's the person who shares their wins constantly, but disappears when someone else is in the spotlight. In relationships, it's the partner who only shows affection when you're feeding their ego, not when you actually need care. They love bomb you when you're useful and ghost you when you're not. The patterns are everywhere. Politics? Full of it. You think some leaders are confident, strategic, impressive, but look closely. Some are just master narcissists. They know how to weaponize their image. They play the hero while silencing opposition. They act like they're serving the people when they're really feeding their own legend. Every speech is a performance. Every decision is calculated for optics, not outcomes. You don't need to be a psychologist to see it. You just need to look behind the performance and ask, who actually benefits here? Same in business. Some CEOs or influencers aren't great leaders. They're just great at being seen. They treat people as tools, not teammates. The moment you stop being useful to them, you disappear. And if you expose them, they don't fight with facts. They fight with shame, discredit, manipulation. They'll tell others you're bitter, that you're jealous, that you couldn't handle the pressure. So how do you handle people like that, without becoming like them? First, stop giving them the fuel they need. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. Whether it's praise, anger, tears, jealousy, it all feeds their sense of importance. The more reactive you are, the more power you give them. This is especially true in romantic relationships, where your emotional investment becomes a bargaining chip they use to control you. They learn your triggers, and when they sense you're slipping away, they'll press just the right emotional button to make you stay. You think you're arguing for understanding, but really, you're giving them fuel. So be still, be unreadable, don't give them what they expect. When they brag, don't flatter. When they provoke, don't explode. When they guilt trip, don't explain. Let your silence speak. Let your distance be the message. The narcissist doesn't know how to deal with calm power. They're used to chaos, emotion, energy they can twist. Take that away, and you're no longer a source. You're a mirror they can't manipulate. It might drive them crazy. That's not your problem. The goal is not to destroy them. The goal is to remove yourself from their reach, psychologically and emotionally. In everyday life, this means declining their invitations to conflict. Not just literal invitations, but those subtle provocations that demand a response, like the backhanded compliment, the delayed message, the public shade. Don't engage, your non-response is your power. Second, speak their language, but stay in control. Narcissists care about image, status, winning. Use that knowledge. If you want something from them, frame it in a way that benefits their ego. Don't say, "This would help me." Say, "This would make you look good." You're not lying. You're being strategic. You're not manipulating. You're navigating. This shows up in corporate settings all the time. You need support from a narcissistic manager? Don't appeal to empathy. Appeal to outcomes. Show how their name could be attached to the success. Make it their win. You want your narcissistic partner to meet you halfway? Frame it as something that will make them shine, not something that inconveniences them. In friendships, let go of expecting reciprocity from someone who only operates in transaction. Instead, keep the dynamic surface level if needed, and redirect your deeper needs to people who can meet them without playing games. Sometimes, to deal with fire, you use fireproof gloves. You're not trying to fix them. You're trying to finish the conversation without losing your mind. Third, keep records. Narcissists love to rewrite history. If you're working with one, document everything. Emails, messages, timelines. Not because you want to go to war, but because when the spin starts, you'll have the receipts. This is especially true when the narcissist holds power over you. A teacher, a boss, an older sibling, a partner with financial control. Documentation becomes your quiet shield. Not everything needs to be public, but everything should be traceable. And finally, here's the most important part. You don't win by calling them out. You win by stepping away from their game entirely. Machiavelli understood something that's still true today. Not every fight is worth it. Some people don't want to hear the truth. They just want a reaction. They don't need connection. They need control. And if you keep trying to explain, to prove, to defend, you're giving them exactly what they want. Your energy. Let's make it real. You're texting someone you like. They ghost you for 3 days, then suddenly come back with a half-hearted, "What are you doing?" at 10 p.m. You reply, hoping it leads somewhere, but the conversation dies again. Next day, they post a story to get your attention. You're stuck wondering what you did wrong, but you didn't. They're not confused. They're controlling the rhythm. And the moment you stop chasing the pattern, you break the pattern. Another one. You're with a friend who always makes subtle digs at you in front of others. Little jokes that don't feel like jokes. When you bring it up, they say you're too sensitive. You try to explain, but they flip it around and make you feel like you're the one overreacting. You're not crazy. They're shifting the frame to stay on top. And if you stop trying to convince them and start setting limits instead, you reclaim the ground under your feet. Because here's the truth. You can't change a narcissist. You can't out-talk them, out-explain them, or fix them. But you can do something better. You can stop giving them power. You can stop giving them the reaction they're trying to pull from you. You can stop being their mirror. Step back. Stay quiet. Move like someone who knows they don't need to be understood to be free. Because freedom doesn't come from being right. It comes from being untouchable. Think clearly. Move quietly. Guard your peace like it's gold. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share this with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.